Now I'm recording. Yeah. Okay. Let's continue. Number 2, Ricardo.
He had withdrawn a large amount of money earlier that morning.
That's right. Okay. Okay, we did the speaking exercise in there. We were discussing what were the similarities that these places had, no? And we mentioned that there were places, they were called blue zones. And what was the other characteristic? It's where people, what happened with people in those places? They live longer.
Yeah.
Okay, they have centenarials, they have people who live till very old. Okay, now we're going to go next page, page 33, page 33. And it says, speaking there, work in pairs. Do you agree with these statements? Explain your answers. I think we did this too, or not? I
We
can't
did
remember now.
something similar.
Yeah, it seems that we discussed about number 4. Married people are more likely to live longer lives than single people. We discussed
Yeah.
about that. And we didn't agree on that. Do you
Yeah,
believe that?
I remember that.
Do you believe that or not? I am supposed to live longer because I am married, right? I don't know. I think it's stupid. Now, it says here, people in past centuries seldom lived beyond early middle age. In past centuries, seldom lived beyond early middle age. What do you think?
And that's correct. Yeah, I agree with that.
By what past centuries?
Um,
The 2000s, the 1900s, the 1800s, the 1700s?
maybe 300 or 400 years ago.
Yeah, okay, I would say that in the 1800s, people live till middle age, and that's it. Okay, some of the some illnesses were very like the one that we are suffering now. But in those days, like for example, influenza or those illnesses were mortal, and people didn't survive with them. Okay, but then we have the vaccines and we have vaccination, and so things changed. And nowadays we are suffering with this pandemic thing. And people is being killed by this illness, yeah, COVID-19, which is it's been very, very mortal. Okay, so we are coming back to the old times in a certain way. Okay, are you afraid of COVID or not? What do you think about COVID? Hello, Tamara.
Hi.
Hello. What do you think about COVID? All of you. I am scared about it, right? I think we have to take care of it. It has been very, very deadly. Lots of people have died. I've known about some friends who have died or students who have died. So it's been very terrible. What do you think about it? What is your opinion about COVID? Are you protecting yourself? Are you taking care? Or do you think that it's just something that people invent? What do you think? Tamara, what's your opinion? What's your opinion about COVID?
It's very scary for me.
Yeah.
Because I have to work tomorrow, actually. I have to go to the school.
Are you teaching already?
No, I am asistente de aula.
All right. Okay.
So in school. So I have to go tomorrow, and there are gonna be classes, and I am really, really scared. I'm really scared.
How are you protecting from the COVID?
I use a lot of alcohol.
Yeah.
I I put myself a double mask.
Mhm.
I have this, I don't know how to say it. It's like a,
Yeah, another like the plastic mask,
yeah, the plastic mask.
right?
And I have the 2 vaccines.
Yeah. Okay. So
I already have.
you are protected. Do you have two vaccines? You said
Yes,
No,
Pfizer. Ah,
only one.
only one.
You said only one.
Yesterday.
All right. Okay. And you, Francisca, how many vaccines do you have?
I'm not yet
You don't have any vaccine.
any. No,
Why not?
because now because I'm not teaching and in a school, so I'm not how can I say principal to do this.
Okay, you don't have the age, it seems.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
How old are you?
24 years old.
24. Yeah, so you might be later, okay, vaccination, okay. What about you, Ricardo? Do you have the two vaccines or not?
No, I haven't been vaccinated yet
Really? Because of the age or because you haven't gone?
because of the age.
Right.
I'm not in the range.
Yeah, in the range. When are you supposed to be vaccinated?
I think it will be soon because I heard that they are vaccinating people
Younger people now.
of 30, I think, and I'm 26.
26, yeah,
So
right.
I am close to the date.
Yeah, okay. I am vaccinated. I have two vaccines and I am vaccinated long time ago, okay, because now I have 4 vaccines, you know? I have 4 because I have the 2 vaccines for COVID, one for the influenza, and then another one for the pneumonia. You have to be vaccinated once in your life, all right? So when you get 65, you have to be vaccinated with the pneumonia. But I didn't vaccinate last year, so when I went to the influenza vaccine, they vaccinated me. They gave me 2 shots, one for the influenza and the other one for the pneumonia at the same time. Okay, so I'm pretty vaccinated, apart from being vaccinated by the government. Okay, so I am doing good in that aspect. Okay, we're going to go now into this listening. It says here, you will hear an interview with Angus Johnson, who does research into longevity. For questions 1-6, choose the answer A, B, C, or D, which fits best according to what you hear. Okay, you're going to read any of these questions first. Before listening, we're going to read them. Okay, so let's start by Giselle. Number 1, read the question and the 4 answers.
What does Dr. Johnson think about people who attribute longevity to genetic factors? A.
Okay.
They are deliberately ignoring the evidence. B. They are unwilling to face reality. C. It may lead them to take silly risks. D. They lack confidence in this belief.
All right. Number 2, Francisca.
How does Dr. Johnson respond when people say most people died young in the past? A. He explains that this was due to the prevalence of untreatable illness. Untreatable illnesses.
That's right.
He agrees on the basis that so many people die in their infancy.
Infancy.
Infancy, yeah. He says that people should look at example from the past. He explains that people at
Aged.
aged much more quickly in the past.
All right. And number 3, Tamara.
When, according to Dr. Johnson, can a job shorten life expectancy? A, when it's so disagreeable that people are really unhappy at work. B, when the burden,
Yes, burden.
yeah, of responsibility is too great. C, when there is
When there is
a demand to meet unrealistic deadlines. D, when workers are paid in accordance with how much they produce.
Okay, Ricardo, number 4.
How does Dr. Johnson explain the role of consciousness in longevity? A, it makes people feel anxious about their health. B, it forces people to change the way they live. C, it makes people consider simplifying their lives. D, it ensures that people take good care of themselves.
All right. The word is conscientiousness. Conscientiousness.
Conscientiousness.
That's right. Okay, I'm going to read the other 2. Number 5 says, Dr. Johnson says that the marriage contributes to women's longevity. A, if they are content with their relationship. If their partner is happy about their being together. C, if they get married when they are young. D, if their partner also lives for a long time. 6, what is Dr. Johnson's attitude to the theory about the longevity of widows? A, he's not fully convinced but hopes it is valid. B, he believes future research will prove it to be false. C, he acknowledges the possible existence of alternative theories. D, he dismisses it as a mere speculation that requires proper study. Okay, so now we are going to listen and let's wait. Oh, come on. They're here. Wait a minute, please. There we go. Minute 3. If you're joining us.
Father and my grandfather were in their 90s when they...
Listening focus. Activity 2.
Thank you for joining us this morning, Dr. Johnson. Both my father and my grandfather were in their 90s when they died, and I like to think I've inherited their long life genes. What are my chances of making a century?
Well, Heather, I can see that you share a tendency with many to give biology pride of place in the longevity stakes.
Mm-hmm.
As I see it, putting so much emphasis on genetics is just wishful thinking. People set great store by the fact that they have family members who've lived into their 80s and 90s in the vain hope that they can ignore warnings about harmful habits like smoking. A completely foolhardy attitude as far as I'm concerned. I hate to say it, but having family members who've lived long lives doesn't mean that you will do so yourself.
Oh, mind you, most people died before their 40th birthday in the old days anyway, didn't they?
In fact, the idea that they all died young is another misconception in my view. I always tell people to take a good look at old family photographs. When they do, they see there are plenty of elderly people in them. It's true that without antibiotics, everyone was more vulnerable to diseases, particularly babies and children. Because a lot of babies and children died, the mean age at death is much lower, even though those who did happen to make it into adulthood had almost as good a chance of living a long life as we do today.
And life was a lot less stressful then, so that would have helped too.
In fact, I think the stresses were just different. But the idea that having a stress-free life is the key to eternal youth is yet another myth. Granted, a miserable job you dislike causes the wrong kind of stress and may be a factor in your dying young. But in cases where you like your job, even if it is tough and you rise to the challenges it presents, you are actually more likely to have a long life. And of course, responsible, conscientious people who look forward to going to work also achieve professional success.
But doesn't that contradict the idea that laid-back people live longer?
Well, they don't necessarily. One of the most important factors is actually conscientiousness. Conscientious people are more likely to pay attention to their health and to avoid life-threatening habits like smoking or drinking too much. They'll also be more inclined to avoid very fattening foods, but they won't veer to the other extreme of starving themselves. This is another thing that I really must make clear. Just because animals on a very low-calorie diet live longer, it doesn't necessarily mean that we do. Starvation dieting is disastrous for your health.
I seem to be getting all the factors wrong, but surely being happily married does lead to a happier life, doesn't it?
It depends. For men, being married is closely related to being happy and healthy. And if a man is happy with a relationship and healthy, his partner tends to be as well. Sadly, when the boot is on the other foot, that is, if a woman is happily married and her partner is not, then it won't have such a positive impact on the length of her life. This always strikes me as rather unfair. It doesn't matter how close they are in age, she always worries about him and feels responsible for him.
What about widows? I've read they often live longer than women whose partners are still alive.
Yes, that's true. Women establish and maintain strong friendship networks. Perhaps once they're on their own, they can enjoy and find support in these networks more than they could when their partners were still alive. This is just a theory, of course. There are almost certainly other explanations.
Indeed. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Johnson. I've been keeping track of all the beneficial factors and I don't think I'm doing too badly.
That's good to hear. Thank you for having me on the programme.
You know, I couldn't find the way to stop it, like put a pause in it. It seems that I don't have the, I don't know how to do it here. I think it doesn't appear. But anyway, now we are going to listen to it again. Okay. And we are going to share the tape, the script. Okay. Oh, let's see. This is the one, the script. And we're going to try to read it. Okay. This is number 11. Could you answer any of the questions, by the way? Could you?
Yes, but
Which
not
one, for example? Which one?
In number 1, I put letter C.
Yeah, okay, that's right. What does Dr. Johnson think about people who attribute longevity to genetic factors? He thinks that it may lead them to take silly risks, okay? They don't take care of themselves, but when they think that the longevity is only genetic factors, they think that they don't need to take care of themselves. So they smoke, they drink, okay? They have all types of vicious. All right, number 2, number 3, 4, 5, 6. Any other that you could answer already? No?
Number 4, I have letter D.
Yeah, okay. How does Dr. Johnson explain the role of conscientiousness longevity? Yeah, letter D. It ensures that people take good care of themselves. Yeah. All the opposite, okay? You have to take care of yourself if you want to live longer, okay? So that's kind of the idea. I'm going to try to put the again the audio. Let's see. But I don't know.
Unit 3,
if I can-
Listening Focus. Activity 2.
Thank you for joining us this morning, Dr. Johnson. Both my father and my grandfather were in their 90s when they died, and I like to think I've inherited their long life genes. What are my chances of making a century?
Well, Heather, I can see that you share a tendency with many to give biology pride of place in the longevity stakes. As I see it, putting so much emphasis on genetics is just wishful thinking. People set great store by the fact that they have family members who've lived into their 80s and 90s in the vain hope that they can ignore warnings about harmful habits like smoking. A completely foolhardy attitude as far as I'm concerned. I hate to say it, but having family members who've lived long lives doesn't mean that you will do so yourself.
Oh, mind you, most people died before their 40th birthday in the old days anyway, didn't they?
In fact, the idea that they all died young is another misconception in my view. I always tell people to take a good look at old family photographs. When they do, they see there are plenty of elderly people in them. It's true that without antibiotics, everyone was more vulnerable to diseases, particularly babies and children. Because a lot of babies and children died, the mean age at death is much lower, even though those who did happen to make it into adulthood had almost as good a chance of living a long life as we do.
Okay, I found it in there. Okay, so in here, number 2, how does Dr. Johnson respond when people say most people died young in the past? What did he say?
He said that that's another misconception.
Yeah, why? How can you prove that?
When
can
you
you-
look at pictures of those times, you can see plenty of old people.
Right, okay, yeah. Although we can see old pictures, in old pictures you can see lots of old people too. So
Yeah.
believing that people died in the middle age when they were in the past is not totally true. It's not totally true. Okay, maybe it could be different, right? Okay, let's continue with the rest. Oops, I don't know now what happens. See, in here I can't find the. See, I can't find the. Oops. I can't find the.
If you minimize the.
I do it. Yeah, but then here. Okay.
A chance of living a long life as we do today.
And life was a lot less stressful then, so that would have helped too.
In fact, I think the stresses were just different. But the idea that having a stress-free life is the key to eternal youth is yet another myth. Granted, a miserable job you dislike causes the wrong kind of stress and may be a factor in your dying young. But in cases where you like your job, even if it is tough and you rise to the challenges it presents, you are actually more likely to have a long life. And of course, responsible, conscientious people who look forward to going to work also achieve professional success.
Yeah. And there we have this third question. When, according to Dr. Johnson, can a job shorten life expectancy? Could you get it or not? It says, in fact, I think the stresses were just different. But the idea that having a stress-free life is the key to eternal youth is yet another myth. Yeah. Granted, a miserable job you dislike causes the wrong kind of stress and may be a factor in your dying young. But in cases where you like your job, even if it is tough and you rise to the challenges it presents, you are actually more likely to have a long life. Okay, so what is he saying? When it is so disagreeable that people are really unhappy at work, then in that case, a job can shorten life expectancy. That is to say, if you don't like your job, you might have or if you work a job that you hate, you can have a short life. Okay. In that case, the stress is very.
Doesn't that contradict the idea that laid-back people live longer?
Well, they don't necessarily. One of the most important factors is actually conscientiousness. Conscientious people are more likely to pay attention to their health and to avoid life-threatening habits like smoking or drinking too much. They'll also be more inclined to avoid very fattening foods, but they won't veer to the other extreme of starving themselves. This is another thing that I really must make clear. Just because animals on a very low-calorie diet live longer, it doesn't necessarily mean that we do. Starvation dieting is disastrous for your health.
Oh, I seem to be getting...
Put it here, I think. Let's put it back for the next question.
But doesn't that contradict the idea that laid-back people live longer?
Well, they don't necessarily. One of the most important factors is actually conscientiousness. Conscientious people are more likely to pay attention to their health and to avoid life-threatening habits like smoking or drinking too much. They'll also be more inclined to avoid very fattening foods, but they won't veer to the other extreme of starving themselves. This is another thing that I really must make clear. Just because animals on a very low-calorie diet live longer, it doesn't necessarily mean that we do. Starvation dieting is disastrous for your health.
Oh, I seem to be getting all the factors wrong, but surely...
Yeah, in there, I think Ricardo had it correct. How does Dr. Johnson explain the role of conscientiousness in longevity? Letter D. It ensures that people take good care of themselves. Okay, now let's go into number 5.
Being happily married does lead to a happier life, doesn't it?
It depends. For men, being married is closely related to being happy and healthy. And if a man is happy with a relationship and healthy, his partner tends to be as well. Sadly, when the boot is on the other foot, that is, if a woman is happily married and her partner is not, then it won't have such a positive impact on the length of her life. This always strikes me as rather unfair. It doesn't matter how close they are in age, she always worries about him and feels responsible for him.
What about widows? I've read they often live longer than women.
Yeah. Number 5 says, Dr. Johnson says that marriage contributes to women's longevity. What does he say about it?
He said that that depends on the type of relationship or it was if it was a good or a bad relationship.
Okay. Yeah.
Or the happiness.
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be with happiness. Yeah. So it's letter B. If their partner is happy about their being together. Yeah, in that case, the widow is going to be happy. If the partner is happy and she is happy, well, they're going to live longer. Okay. Now, number 6. We're going to read it again. It says, what is Dr. Johnson's attitude to the theory about the longevity of widows? He's not fully convinced, but hopes it is valid. He believes future research will prove to be false. He acknowledges the possible existence of alternative theories. He dismisses it as mere speculation that requires proper study.
Whose partners are still alive.
Yes, that's true. Women establish and maintain strong friendship networks. Perhaps once they are on their own, they can enjoy and find support in these networks more than they could when their partners were still alive. This is just a theory, of course. There are almost certainly other explanations.
Indeed. Well, thank
you. Okay, what is in there? A, B, C, or D?
C.
C, yeah. He acknowledges the possible existence of alternative theories, right? Okay, then in the vocabulary, we have some expressions that we have to take care. Number one in there in the vocabulary says putting so much emphasis on genetics is just wishful thinking. What do you understand by wishful thinking? Wishful thinking in here. Here it is. As I see it, putting so much emphasis on genetics is just wishful thinking. People set great store by the fact that they have family members who've lived into their 80s and 90s in the vain hope that they can ignore warnings about harmful habits like smoking. Wishful thinking is something that you believe is going to happen. That is wishful thinking. You believe that it's going to happen no matter the science, no matter whatever, it's going to happen. Okay, that's the idea. Okay, what about foolhardily, number two, and completely foolhardily attitude as far as I am concerned? I don't know where it is in here so as to read it better. This is granted in here, but I can't find foolhardily. A completely foolhardily attitude as far as I am concerned. What do you think it means? There it is. Yeah, harmful habits like smoking. A completely foolhardily attitude as far as I am concerned. I hate, he says, I hate to say it, but having family members who live long lives, etc. A foolhardy attitude. What do you think?
Like a silly attitude?
Yeah, silly, stupid, reckless, any of those. Yeah, any of those. Then in the other one, we have granted, which is in here, I think. I saw it in here. Let's see. I saw it somewhere. Granted in here. Granted. Can you see it? There? It says, granted a miserable job you dislike causes the wrong kind of stress. It's like admitted, like when you admit something is true. Yeah. So admitting that a miserable job you dislike causes the wrong kind of stress and may be a factor in your dying young. Okay, that is granted. Okay, then number 4 said, but doesn't that contradict the idea that laid back people live longer? Laid back people. Yeah, that's a question. Yes.
That's the word for people who don't get stressed easily,
Right.
or who live their life relaxed.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the idea. Laid back people are relaxed people, easygoing people. Easygoing. So if you are easygoing, you're going to live longer. That is something that all of us believe, right? We believe that if we are easygoing, you are going to live longer. Okay. Well, the other 2 is for homework, number 5 and number 6. Try to see it at home in your house and see the vocabulary. Okay. Okay. Now we're going into page number 34. Page 34 in your book. Okay. Wait a minute. 34. Ah, no, I didn't do it. You have it already. It's the speaking part in here. It says, how much contact do you have with people of different generations in your family or neighborhood? I think we have talked about it. Some of you have certain kind of communication. Some of you have family who are old, but do you have any connection with old people in general? Or very little connection? Do you talk to someone old? Not necessarily a relative, but also a friend could be, a neighbor. And how much is that contact? For example, when you talk to an old person, do you enjoy it? Or it's a problem for you?
I
Tamara.
enjoy.
You enjoy it? Okay, Ricardo. Do you enjoy it?
Yes.
Yes. What do you talk? What do you talk with them?
A lot of things, but I usually talk to old people. For example, when I'm waiting in line in the supermarket or in the bank, sometimes there are old people there waiting, and I get close to them and start talking because they are always talkative.
Yeah. Okay. And do you? I mean, are you the one who start the conversation, or it's just?
Sometimes, or the old woman also starts conversations with me. I don't know why.
Yeah. Okay. So you like to talk to them. Do you like to, for example, ask them about old times, or you just talk about, general things in general?
Yeah, general things, but they are open to talk about their youth.
Yeah. Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah. What about the rest? Melissa, Tamara, Francisca, Giselle, do you talk to old people? Do you usually talk to old people, or you never talk to old people? What is your experience? Melissa, for example. How often do you talk to old people?
Never.
Never. Why,
No.
why not, Melissa?
Because I don't have a connection with old people.
Yeah. Don't you have a neighbor or a friend? No.
No.
And in your family?
No, my grandparents are all dead. So
They're all dead. Okay. Okay, Tamara, what about you? Do you talk? Do you sometimes talk? Do you never talk to old people?
Yes, I talk with my uncles.
Yeah.
We talk about the years of Pinochet and all that time, because they were prisoners.
Oh, yeah.
I have 2 uncles.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
they always talk that when was the estallido social,
Yeah.
I have to go. I was going to the marchas. So they always tell me that why I do that. I don't have to, because maybe it was like
It could be
it could
dangerous.
be it was dangerous,
Yeah. Okay.
just like them. So they were afraid.
Yeah.
But we always talk about that.
All right. Okay. What about you, Francisca and Giselle? Do you talk to any old person?
I have good relation with old people.
Yeah.
Other people. Yeah. I always have something to talk, conversation.
And for example, what do you like to talk with them? What do you like to talk with them?
I like to talk about life.
Life in general.
Yeah, in general, yeah. They always say me, enjoy your life, don't marry it. And I always say, come on, I don't have boyfriend, so how can think about marriage?
Yeah. Okay. It's a good piece of advice. Don't get married.
Yes.
No, I don't know. I don't know if it is a good piece of advice. And you, Giselle, do you sometimes talk to old people?
Yes, I like to talk with my uncles
Yeah.
and my dad's friends.
Yeah.
I have had really good talks with adult people
Yeah. All
because
right.
they have another kind of or another way of see the life, and that's
Of
interesting.
facing the life, facing life. Yeah. Yeah. It's different. I mean, they have more experience. They have lived more than you, right? So they can give you more pieces of advice, etc. I'm going to tell you something that when I was in the States caught my attention because I lived there for 6 months and then we became friends with the family. The first time that I went, I was like 36 years old. I was very young still. I was working, but I was already a dad. My wife was here and my two children were here. So for me, it was kind of difficult to live there for 6 months. I missed them a lot. But the people that I met there was fantastic. Gordon Dokken was the name of my father because he was older than me, but he was an old man, but he was so funny and so friendly. And they was called Gordy. People called him Gordy, right? And but it was a lot of fun. He died like 5 or 6 years ago. And Millie, his wife, uh, they had a family there, and I went to live with them for 6 months, and we became really good friends. So this is the first time that I went, but I've been in their house like 7 times, I don't know. And they came to my house twice, 2 summers. They came to my house, and we traveled to the south. I we had a very good time here. But I remember when I was there, Bori used to go to 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 the to the malls in order to walk in the morning. That was a kind of exercises they did because as in Minnesota it's so cold, it's snowing all the time, it's very cold, like 20 or 30 degrees below zero in winter. So they open the malls. They open the malls early in the morning, like at 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, and people go there and they walk around the mall. Some of them go in bicycles and they go around in bicycles. So I went with him, and then he met with his friends, and they were all like his age, 70 something. I was 36 in those days. It was a lot of fun. The guys were so wise and intelligent, and they were funny. And then Gori said, okay, let's go to the supermarket. What for? In supermarkets at 10 o'clock, they serve breakfast for all people. So, and it's for free, he said, it's for free. So we went there and we had breakfast, a cup of coffee with donuts, I remember. And it was, the breakfast was pretty good. And I said, but I'm not that old. No, don't worry. You're my friend, so we're going to go with you. So I used to talk to the guys in those activities, and I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed it. First, because I spoke English with them, and then they didn't speak any Spanish. And then, so for me, it was a lot of practice, good practice. But also, they were very wise, and they had a very intelligent talk. Some of them were had fought in the war, in the Vietnam War, for example. So they had plenty of stories. So it was really good thing to do in there. Okay. So I always like to talk to old people because they teach you a lot. In here, I live with my mother-in-law. She's 88 years old. And as I told you before, my father died this year, and he was 95 years old. So I had the possibility to talk to old people all the time. And I think that you learn a lot from them. Okay, it's good to do it. Okay, now this is a kind of a conversation. Then we are going to do this part, which is look at the exam task and write a plan for your answer. This is a report. Okay, this is a report. So, Ricardo, read the instructions in there. An international development, read that, please.
An international development agency has been looking into attitudes to aging around the world. The research director has asked you to conduct a survey and write a report. Your report should discuss how young people where you live feel about all older people in the community and the prospect of growing old themselves. You have also been asked to make recommendations about how attitudes could be changed.
Yep. Okay. So that is the assignment. Okay. But as usual, when you are going to write something, you have to make a plan on how you are going to write. Okay. On the other side of the page, you have the plans. It says here, look at 3 more plans for the task and answer the question. Yeah. Which is most similar to the plan you made. Okay. You have to plan about your report. Okay. So in case number 8 says question, I asked 2 descriptions of people. I asked problems with survey, analysis of survey results. Yeah. Then letter B says 1, description of problem, survey results, reasons why young people feel positive towards older people, reasons why young people are not looking forward to growing old themselves. And plan C writes introduction, attitudes to older people, attitudes to growing old, and recommendations. Yeah. Okay. So these are the plans that you have to do. Yeah. Now, I'm going to show you the recommendations to write a report. Okay. So we're going to, I can minimize here. Let me see what I do. Wait. I'm going to look for the recommendations, audio, grammar, speaking, teachers, writings here. Essay model, report. I know. Wait. Writing references in page, wait a minute, please. Page 186, 192. Wait. Yeah, I think this is it. Yeah, this is the informal letter. 91. Yeah, report and proposal. Yeah, it is here. We're going to read it because in here you learn how to do it. It says your local council is conducting an inquiry into the volume of visitors to the center of your town or city with a view to encouraging more people to make greater use of shops, restaurants, cafes, and entertainment facilities there. You agree to write a report describing the existing situation, including factors which discourage people from coming to the city center, and recommending ways of attracting more visitors. Here you have some of the things. This is a model answer of a report. It says here, read the ones that I'm going to indicate, okay? Giselle, read this part.
Do use headings and bullet points.
Bullet points.
Bullet points. This will make it clear to your reader that your report is not an essay or review.
Essay or review. Okay. Let's see, Francisca. Read this.
To state the purpose,
Purpose. The purpose.
the purpose of your report at the beginning.
Okay. So you have to write a heading. You have to state the purpose of your reports. Okay. Tamara, read this.
Do use a relativity,
Relatively.
formal,
Relatively.
relatively formal and impersonal style.
All right. Formal, but impersonal. What is the meaning of impersonal here? What are they saying when you say impersonal, Tamara? Open question for all of you. Impersonal.
To talk in third person.
Yeah. Impersonal meaning don't use I or we, because that is personal. First person. Okay, so you have to talk second or third person, right? Okay, it's the name. You said? No, it's not you said. Oh, I forgot the name of the other girl. Where are you? Melissa. I forgot your name, Melissa. As you arrive late, I forgot your name. Okay, here, read this, Melissa.
To use the task input as a guide for how to divide your report into sections.
Okay, when the other time when you write an essay, when you write your essay, some of you write only one big paragraph. Remember that it's usually preferable to make paragraphs separating your ideas. Okay, so that is very important. Okay, Ricardo, read this here, this part.
Do include a sentence summarizing your opinion at the beginning of the final section of your report.
All right. And finally, I'm going to read this. It says, to use bullet points, don't overdo it. Though if you use them in more than one section, you won't be able to show the full range of structure and vocabulary you know. Here you are using bullets, see? Okay. Okay, so these are the recommendations to write a report. And in here, oops, in the next page, here you have useful language for a report. You have it in here. The other time when you write the essay, you had some vocabulary that I sent you to write your essay, but I don't think any of you use it. You didn't use any of this vocabulary. Here you have lots of words or phrases that you can use in writing a report. It says here, useful language for a report. Stating the purpose of the report. When you state the purpose, you can write the principal aim, the principal objective, the principal purpose of this report is to provide a description of, is to provide a present results of, is to provide assess the importance of, or assess the importance of. For example, in this report, I will provide a description of, present results of, assess the importance of. This report describes or provides an assessment of, presents results of. Then describing how you got your information. I conducted interviews with local council officers, a survey of. Shopkeepers in the high street responding to an online questionnaire. I visited 3 of the most popular restaurants. High street shoppers were invited to attend a focus group. Reporting your results. Most of those responding to the survey stated that, expressed the opinion that, according to one interview, I lost it. According to one interview, Peter Ross Peters, the traffic problem is a large, okay, you have plenty of vocabulary that you can use for your report. When writing your report, use it. Because when you have this, you can organize your report in a better way, okay? For example, in here, when you make arguments, for example, you have this. Look at this part. Wait. Presenting a list, for example, the arguments, etc. The following were the main reasons given for supporting the ban. Firstly, secondly, points out our informants mentioned, etc. So you organize your ideas, okay? So when you write a report, you will have to do it. By the way, only 2 people have given me the second task. Yeah, the second task, only 2 people. Now you're going to have a third task. So for next week, you will have to have 2 more tasks, okay? So remember that, you have to write it. Because in the only way that I can send you a feedback is when you write it. Okay, for Thursday, we're going to have either an essay or a proposal. So, but going to write now, we're going to review now the essay. Okay? So as to remember that. This is formal letter. And this is the essay. Essay, this is it, okay? Take a look at this. It says, for work on essays, yeah, it says here, your class has attended a panel discussion. This is a task. Yeah. The government should use to encourage people to buy products produced in your region or country. You have made the notes below. Methods government could use to encourage, this is the plan, see? Some opinion expressed, etc. But here is the useful language that you didn't use the other time. Introducing the topic. For example, read that, Ricardo.
It is often claimed that people today read less than they did in the past.
Okay, you are introducing a topic in there. Melissa, read the other one.
Many people contend that climate change is the most serious problem we face.
Okay, Tamara.
We often hear that a greater effort should be made to create jobs for young people.
Okay, now linking ideas. Francisca.
While it is true that young people make extensive use of mobile phone technology, it is not the case that this has made them less literate than their parents.
All right, Giselle.
Not only do people eat for more than they need to, but they also throw away a horrifying amount of perfectly good food every day.
Yeah, this is a very good way of connecting ideas, not only, but also. Not only, but also. Not only you do this, but also you do this. And so you connect 2 ideas together and the sentence is like fluent and beautiful. I like that connector. Not only, but also. Yeah. You can not only speak good English, but also good Spanish. See? And you connect 2 ideas together very fluently. Yeah. Then you have other ways. For example, that may well be so, but surely, in fact, now in here you have some ideas when you want to give opinions. Remember that in an essay, you finally have to give your opinion, your own opinion. I can honestly say that, in my view, as I see it, and for conclusion, on balance, taking everything into consideration, there are many good arguments for. Okay, so you can use this. For Thursday, we might probably have an essay, right? You will have to write an essay in 1.5 hours. It's a long time. But if you remember this, it's going to help you to write in an easy way, okay? You can use your own connectors to it. I mean, but this is also a good exercise in order to write more fluently, okay? So for next Thursday, or this Thursday, I'm going to give you a task, and you will have to write about that task. Yeah, but you have to use the vocabulary. So you have to study this. Okay, you have to study this. Next week, we're going to have on Tuesday. No, on Tuesday, we're going to have classes. On Thursday, we're going to have the speaking, and Mr. Moncada is going to help me. So it's going to be also at 8 o'clock, 8:15. And we're going to interview all of you that day, all right? And then on Friday, we're going to have the use of English test. The use of English test includes a reading, okay? In there, you are going to give you a listening, and then with the listening, you're going to answer some part of it. Okay, so it's going to be a connective thing. Okay, so for next class, then you will have to write this this task. Okay, this task in which you will have to talk about. You're going to write a survey. I'm going to read it again for you. It says, an international development agency has been looking into attitudes to aging around the world. Aging around the world. The research director has asked you to conduct a survey and write a report. Your report should discuss how young people where you live feel about older people in the community and the prospect of growing old themselves. You have also been asked to make recommendations about how attitudes could be changed. Okay, this is the task. You make a plan and you write a report. So you write it and you look in here in order to write it, okay? In this, no, in this. You have recommendations here and you have vocabulary there, right? I'm going to upload it to you, okay? So you will have it for you. I think the other part I also uploaded, but not in this class. The one about the essay, I uploaded in some of the other class, the old classes. But anyway, I'm going to try to upload it anyway. The vocabulary and a model of, and this model. Yeah, okay. Okay, so now to finish, we're going to do the review, and we finish with unit 3. Okay, so go to page 25. Go to page 25. Here you have exercises. Let's see. I'm going to give you some time for you to answer. It says, number 1, complete the sentences with the correct form of the word in capitals. You have include, administrate, addict, decide, distinction, interact, communicate, dismiss. I'm going to give you some minutes for you to answer. All right? Page 25, I'm going to put it in here for you to see it if you don't have the book. There you go. Okay, try to do it right now. I'll be back in a minute.
Creo que se equivocó.
What? Why?
Ah,
Why?
I think we did it already.
This part? Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't remember. Okay, but anyway, let's review it anyway. Read number 1, Ricardo.
That's the total cost of the holiday. Oh, sorry.
Did we do it or not?
I'm kidding.
Yes, but I'm looking for the page in my book.
Okay. So, okay, finish. I'll be back. I wanted to show you a picture. Do you remember that the other time I told you that I had got married at 21? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. Take a look.
Oh.
Black and white. The
Yeah.
picture.
The picture is black and white. This is me when I was 21 years old and I had hair. See, I had hair, and my wife was 18 years old.
18.
She was 18. I was
Your
21.
face is so different.
I was different, right? Pretty young, but I want the picture is so old now. It's getting older and older, like me. Yeah, okay. Ready. Let's see. No, Ricardo. That's number 1.
That's the total cost of the holiday, including all meals.
All right. Number 2, Francisca.
I'm afraid there's been an administrative error.
Yes, continue. Giselle, please.
Texting can be a problem if it becomes an addiction.
Yeah. Melissa. Number 4.
Deciding is a problem which affects many people. They can't decide what to do, so they end up not doing anything.
All right. Tamara. Is Tamara up or is she gone? No, I think she's gone. Okay, so Ricardo again.
Okay, number
5.
5. Their music is easy to recognize because the sound is quite distinctive.
Distinctive, that's right. Francisca, number 6.
Number 6. The technology museum is very interactive. There are lots of gadgets you can try out.
Gadgets.
You can try out.
Okay, you said?
Alex is not a very good communicative.
No.
Communicator.
Communicator.
That's right.
He often struggles to express himself.
All right, and finally, Melissa?
I found her immediate dismissing of all my suggestions really offensive.
I found her immediate dismission of all my suggestions really offensive. All right. Okay. The other ones are for homework. Okay. The other ones are for homework. You have lots of vocabulary here and things. Now, remember that next class next class is going to be the writing. Yeah. Then Tuesday we're going to have a class. I would like you that Tuesday, you can study and come with questions, especially in grammar. Okay, for you to for me to answer all your questions. Okay, so I would like you to study. I would like you to study for Tuesday. So be prepared for asking me questions if you don't understand things. But because you have to read that, we have in grammar we have countable and uncountables, the use of indefinite articles. We have the it, like at the beginning of the sentence. We have inversion, yeah, which all those things that are going to be present in the test, together with the vocabulary, yeah, because for example, also in the vocabulary we have the sounds. Do you remember?
Yes.
Squeaky and I can't remember now the other ones, monotonous and what else were squeaky, whining, etc. All those words that were related to that. We have some other related to, I can't remember now, but we have in all the units, we have lots of, for example, words of ages, juvenile, childhood, adulthood, geriatric, puerile, etc. So in all the units, we are going to cover 3. Yeah. In all the units, we have vocabulary. For example, in here I am reading, for example, appalling, cringe, irksome, making fun. Those vocabulary that appears in every section. All right. Introductory it, etc. Okay, and for the speaking, you have, for example, topics like age, etc. So next Tuesday, we are going to make only review of everything, but I want you to study first. Okay, so try to study and be prepared in order to ask me questions if you don't understand something. All right. Okay, so that would be here, for example, choose the correct alternative in each sentence. She had such a monotonous, high-pitched voice that students often used to fall asleep in her lectures. We did that. What was the wording here was monotonous, right? Okay, so that's the idea. Another thing that I wanted to show you is, let's see, wait a minute, is the percentage of I hadn't given you the percentage. Can you see now?
Yes.
Yeah. For example, this writing that we're going to do, writing number 1, 10%. Speaking, 15%. Use of English, 15%. Writing, the second writing, 10%. Oral presentations are going to be 15%. I haven't decided yet what type of presentations are going to be, but for example, in the morning program, they made them read academic papers. All right, and then with those academic papers, you had to make a presentation of 5 minutes or 6 minutes. All right, then use of English number 2, 10%. Speaking number 2, 20%. This is the one that is going to be most important. And then finally, self-evaluation, 5%. This could be a change. There might be a change because we could make I'm thinking about giving you a portfolio, but I'm going to discuss about it because I don't know if we're going to have time. If we decide to do a portfolio, we are going to include, for example, the writings that you are going to do and some other tasks that I'm going to ask you. If we can't come to an agreement with the people from the morning program, we're going to make just a self-evaluation like the old times, in which you decide and you give yourself a grade for your behavior in the semester. Okay, so that is the idea. Any question so far? Okay, so that would be it for today. Okay, see you Thursday. They say that it's going to be raining that day. I don't know. I like it. I like rain. Okay, so Thursday we are going to you are going to write an essay. You're going to write an essay. So be prepared to write the structure of the essay. Study it. Learn the vocabulary, and then you are going to do it. You're going to do it in here. I'm going to be in front of you the hour in which you're going to write it. Okay. I'm going to be looking at you. So anytime you can ask me a question. All right. Okay, so that would be all. Okay. Thank you very much. See you Thursday. Be prepared.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Have a good time.